help me make sense of this, because the Jaguars in week 3, before the Jaguars really got to where they are now, they went to L.A. and they kicked the shit out of the Chargers 38-10. So both teams qualify for the playoffs. The Chargers come to Jacksonville, and the Chargers, after losing at home to the Jaguars 38-10, and I know it's been a long time, but it was this year. It wasn't last year. The Chargers are favored by 2.5 points. How does that happen?
That's a great question. I don't get that either. Well, I do get it. The Chargers have become the media fan darling, the team that could upset everything and make a run. So I think that's where it comes from. And then Herbert's definitely one of the 5 best quarterbacks in football. I think that makes people jump on the bandwagon there. They do have some big names, right? So I'm guessing that's where the logic and the money is on the Chargers. And in totality, okay, maybe the Chargers are better in totality. Maybe they're set up to make a deeper run in the playoffs. That doesn't mean they're set up to win this football game. This is a matchup league like we talked about. I think this is a very tough matchup for the Los Angeles Chargers. I do. Here's my first thing I'll say, Mike, just right off the bat, strengths and weaknesses, right? We know the weakness of the Chargers. One of their biggest weaknesses is run defense, right? Well, the Jaguars can run, right? What's one of the weaknesses of the Jaguars? It's their run defenses too. But the Chargers can't run, right? So there's some things here that line up to go, ooh, that's advantage Jaguars, to where I think make this very interesting. And my big point, Mike, when I really broke this game down a little in my podcast is, one thing that jumps out to me about the Chargers is if you're just a great passing team, right, and you throw it, they're great in those instances. Like we saw against the Miami Dolphins when they knew, oh, wait, there's not a run game we have to worry about. I can just devise a pass defense to do that. That's great. If you're just a great running team, they're great at that too. They'll go all in on that and, find a way to defend the run. And usually some of those great running teams are very simple with their pass concepts, and then they figure out how to cover that as well off of it. But history shows this year, when you have balance, the Chargers defense struggles. And almost every loss they've had, other than the Chiefs in week 2, which were not a balanced offense at that time. The Jaguars that you talked about, balanced, dominated them a football game. The Seahawks, right? They're balanced. And at that time of the year with Kenneth Walker and stuff, they were throwing bombs, running for 70-yard touchdowns, doing it all. The 49ers, pretty good balance there, right? The Chiefs, the second time, the Chiefs did have balance. That's when Pacheco ran for over 100 yards, and they started to dabble in, we're going to be smash-mouth football. And, of course, the Raiders. And I think the Jaguars pose some of those problems for this Chargers defense. What do you think about that matchup there, the Jags offense versus that Chargers D?
Well, it all hinges on Trevor Lawrence. And the thing that fascinates me the most about this game.
Yeah.
And I thought of this from the moment it locked in last week, because we've got Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, clearly the best 2 quarterbacks in the NFL. You've got Joe Burrow a half click below them.
Right.
And we just assume Justin Herbert is in there too. This is Trevor Lawrence's opportunity. And I know that they're not on the field at the same time, but we know how it goes. How do you do in the head-to-head showdown? And Trevor Lawrence has already beaten the brakes off of him once, and I know he was injured then. It was the first game after he suffered the rib, whatever it was. I don't think we've ever gotten the truth as to how serious it was and when he finally was recovered from it, if he even is. But this is a great chance for Trevor Lawrence to really establish himself. Look at all those guys from the 2021 first-round class. And we thought Justin Fields had emerged as the best of the best. Mac Jones was the one who went to the playoffs last year. Right now, Trevor Lawrence is on the brink of establishing that the guy taken first is clearly the best of the bunch. You beat Justin Herbert. The thing about Justin Herbert when he gets in these settings, and I think back to Week 18 a year ago, the Sunday night game against the Raiders, and how he's converting those 4th downs, and there's just
he lets it rip
about Justin Herbert that happened that night. That's what I'm looking at. So, look, from the Chargers standpoint, I hope Mike Williams is available. I have a feeling he's not going to be. I have a feeling this questionable label they've put on a guy who didn't practice all week after suffering a back injury in a game he shouldn't have been playing in is all about saving a little face to make Brandon Staley look not as bad for putting his starters out there as long as he did in a game that was meaningless and that they lost anyway. But, if they don't have Mike Williams, that changes things. And from the Jaguars' perspective, I like what they're doing on both sides of the ball. It's not overpowering. It's not beautiful. It's not great to show on turf, but it is freaking effective. It's getting it done. It's scoring points. It's being opportunistic. They're down against the Titans. They find a way. Whenever they need to, they find a way. And we said this at one point during the year. It's kind of like the transformation we had to go through with the Bengals last year. We're so used to seeing the uniform and associating with bad team. You have to rewire your brain to see that uniform and think good things are happening for the guys who are wearing it.
I think that's probably why the line is 2.5 to the Chargers. The stigma around the Jaguars. I think what you said about Trevor Lawrence, that's real, and I think Trevor Lawrence is kind of on the fringe, of the top 5 quarterback. I think he's kind of gotten there, at least close. Just off the top of my head, I mean, I think he is maybe 6, 7 in football right now. And just talking to him yesterday, he's very aware of the upper echelons of quarterbacks in football and where they are, and he wants to be there. He was pretty clear in stating that to me. So, yeah, it's a big game for him. I'm excited to see both of these guys go at it. And, I guess one of the things I look at to be the determining factor, especially with the Mike Williams injury, if that's real, because you said right about the Jaguars. The Jaguars got good system on both sides of the ball, and they got playmakers on both sides of the ball. So they can kind of beat you both ways, where, like we saw in the Titans game, well, we just need somebody to get a sack and a strip and somebody pick it up and make a play. And they can do that, to your point. We've seen that kind of throughout the year in some big moments. But if the Chargers can run the ball a little bit, then I start to go, wait, this could end up being high scoring, and we'll see where it goes. But I don't expect that, and I do think this Jaguars pass rush is pretty good. Tyson Campbell is one of the best corners in football that no one knows about. I think he can match up with a guy like Mike Williams, if healthy, or Keenan Allen, and really give them some issues there. So, hey, Mike, all in all, I'm going to make my pick here. I'm going Jags, all right? I'm going Jags 30-23. I think it is a close game. I think the Jags score like a late touchdown to win the football game. But I like them. I think they match up really well with the Chargers.
I locked in yesterday at Jaguars 24-21. I still don't understand how they're underdogs, and I really do think it's perception more than reality. This is one of those opportunities for the folks out there who are inclined to bet to maybe jump on the better team. And even if the Chargers social media team decides to use these words against us next week, have at it.
Thanks for watching, homies. Hit subscribe to see all my Unbuttoned videos. You get to see me, Ahmed Fareed, all the big player breakdowns, game breakdowns, player interviews, and my film analysis. So please subscribe. Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Peace out.